What's good, you guys? So, as you can tell by the title, talking some whale Shockwave again, the fan vote. This is something that I've been kind of thinking about the last few days or the last week or so since this design and figure has been revealed to probably drop around 2027. And I just figured I'd make a topical video talking about this because I'm sure a lot of people out there have been wondering this too. Now, was going with this design a good decision in terms of what Hasbro wants to do with new versions of characters and what's going on with Shockwave here? I would like to assume yes, because it seems like there's a lot of people in the community that are really hyped up and excited to get a figure of this design, and I don't blame them. It's a pretty cool looking design. I'm sure it's going to make for a nice Voyager class or maybe even a Leader class scaled figure. Definitely those two scales would be great. I don't think a deluxe would be that interesting, and it would definitely be hampered by engineering and budget probably. But we're gonna have to wait and see. I could be wrong. Especially since we saw the other concepts that were drummed up for this fan vote Shockwave, I think there were a lot cooler options in my opinion. Because if you want something different for the character, I really do think we need to look at the success of the 2000s. And I know some people are going to disagree with this who are watching this video, even the Bayverse to an extent, because that's what made Hasbro a lot of money for about 10 years. Doing something different with the character. Now, obviously, him transforming into a whale is extremely different. Usually he's some sort of spaceship or tank or a gun, but the whale, it's cool, it's different, it's interesting, but once you get to the robot mode, it just looks like G1 Shockwave with a couple sea creature fins slapped onto the body. It's really nothing too interesting. I mean, the design is still cool, I like it, but from what I was expecting in terms of a wacky new alt mode, new design, fan-voted version of a character like Shockwave, I was expecting something completely out there, something a bit more imaginative for the robot mode at least. And my expectations just weren't met. And I know I'm not the only one out there that thinks this. There has been a lot of people on the internet saying the exact same thing. And it makes sense, I thought we would get something as a level in terms of redesigning the character, in terms of like Dark of the Moon Shockwave or Energon Shock Blast, different iterations of the character that we've seen over the years. Not in terms of like taking same design elements, but changing the design to the point of, the same factor as those different iterations of the Shockwave character. You still have the key traits that make Shockwave who he is in his design, while changing it to the point where it's super interesting and super different, where it just motivates everybody involved with the Transformers fandom and buying these figures to want to get this fan-voted version of the character. I think that's something Hasbro kind of missed the mark on. But in that aspect, maybe they were just thinking that since it's Shockwave and since he's such a big A-list character and he's such a fan favorite and everyone loves him, that Hasbro could just get away with making the robot mode a bit more G1, and he would appease more so of the G1 crowd that really doesn't like change with their characters in the slightest. Maybe they were just trying to appeal to that area of the fandom, since that's partly what sells extremely well, rightfully so. G1 is the start of everything, but I don't know if that was the right move. We're really gonna have to wait and see in terms of further developments of this fan vote Shockwave figure. I'm assuming it's coming out in 2027. I can't remember if that was the timeline that Hasbro and Evan themselves gave. I could be right or wrong on that, I'm not sure. But I'm assuming he's coming out in the next 2, maybe 3 years at the latest. So I'm sure we're going to get more updates maybe later on this year, next year, and the year after until this figure is finally released. And hopefully, in terms of the physical figure, I like it a bit more with the robot mode design than I am right now. I don't know if I'm going to get this per se. I got to wait and see on how the actual physical figure looks, and of course the price. I don't know if they're going to jack up the price for this guy, sort of like what they do with the collabs or specialty releases. That could be the case as well. I really just got to see how the physical figure itself looks and what the price is going to be. But yeah, guys, let me know down in the comments below. Do you guys think it was the right decision to do this version of the concept art that they chose here, Whale Shockwave? In my personal opinion, I think it's cool, yes, but I think they kind of missed the mark on doing something very creative and unique, especially for a fan-voted version of the character that they wanted something different for him. I think they missed the mark completely in terms of the robot mode in that design. But let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye!